March 17 could change thousands of lives overnight. Somali families who have lived in the US for the years, some for even decades, are now facing an uncertain future. What actually happens when temporarily protected status ends? And what does it mean for families who say America is the only home they know? Stay with me because the answer is more complicated than most headlines suggest. Let's watch these clips and then we'll come back with more comments.
Somalis may have to go back to Somalia. President Trump has proposed to end TPS status for Somalis. Most Somali immigrants in America are here on a temporary protective status. Basically, their home country, Somalia, is unsafe, so they're here on a work authorization. However, if that's to be ended, things can happen for the Somali community. First, the loss of legal status. Secondly, they're not able to work in the United States. And then most importantly, the risk of deportation. There's a huge Somali community in the Minnesota-St. Paul area. And of course, if the TPS status has ended, it will affect their community tremendously.
Somalis gathered in Minneapolis today to publicly voice their opposition. Fox 9's Leon Purvis joining us tonight from Minneapolis. And Leon, what are they saying about the president's proposal?
Well, Kelsey, many people gathered at Carmel Mall, the heart of the Somali community, to support one another.
Manta, 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 Omani waiting, manta, 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 Omani waiting, manta.
Carmel Mall was packed on the fourth floor with people from the Somali community and people coming out in support. On Friday, President Trump said that he would immediately terminate temporary deportation protections from Somalis living in Minnesota, blaming them for fraud in Minnesota.
We're not here by accident. We're here to stay forever.
There are currently 500 Somalis in Minnesota living with these protections and a total of 700 nationwide. Many expect this to be challenged in court, but in the meantime, Somalis here say they are fearful of what's to come.
People are always going to be fearful, but we're telling our people we're greater than their fear. We have resilience. We're people that are brave.
When temporary status is revoked, federal law states it can't take effect earlier than 60 days after publication of that notice, and it has to come from the Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem.
What the president is doing is un-American. It's not Minnesotan.
The Protected Status Program for Somalis was launched in 1991 by President George H.W. Bush. It grants protections to eligible people who can't return to their homeland safely due to civil war or natural disasters.
What we decided to do is to bring our community in the heart of in the Somali community here in Minnesota, which is Carmel Mall, to show that, our neighbors are with us, Minnesotans are with us, and we're all together in this fight.
Temporarily protected status, also known as TPS, is a legal designation granted to people from countries experiencing armed conflict, natural disasters, or even extraordinary conditions. It allows them to live legally in the US, work legally, and avoid deportation temporarily. For Somalia, TPS has been extended multiple times due to instability and humanitarian concerns. But now, that protection is scheduled to end on March 17th. And that deadline has created a serious uncertainty. Many Somali families affected by TPS have lived in the US for years, built careers and businesses, raised children who are American citizens, established even deep community ties. So for some, returning to Somalia would mean going to a country they left as children or they barely remember. For others, it raises concerns about safety, stability, and economic survival. Regardless of political pressure, this situation has real human consequences.
Are people that are not from the United States of America taking our resources? Why do we use our tax dollars to support people that are not from the United States of America? especially, right? Because I'm going to paint it to you from both sides. From the conservative perspective, we want lower taxes, more freedom to do what we want to do with our money, and lower property taxes. From the Democrat perspective, they want lower property taxes and more affordability, which is basically the same thing. They just reworded it. White people, because we're going to use black and white. We're not going to go in the middle right now with all of the other ones, simply because it's just easier to substantiate an argument. White people say, this is our country, this is our land, get out of America. Black people say, or black culture, this is our country, we deserve reparations. This is what they say. We deserve reparations. Why are we giving money to this person and this group, and we not focusing on the African descendants of slaves, American descendants of slaves, right? So why are people against Trump removing the protections, allowing for people to come over here and pretend like they're seeking asylum when they're really just trying to come up financially? Deporting people that came over here illegally that then take up our resources. If we're rewording this to look a certain way, but in reality, when you start to break it down, for different reasons, different groups that traditionally don't see things the right way, and so they clash, want the same thing. And we have a president that, regardless of whether or not you actually like him as a person, is saying, well, we need to get these people up out of here that's not supposed to be here because they're not here legally, or they're taking advantage of taxpayers, or they're defrauding us and taking all of our money. Then why are we divided on certain issues that, if that's what you believe, it actually serves us both? Here's the thing, Mel Love. You said every black person in America is not a descendant of slave, but I get what you mean. The people that did it legally don't even like the people that's coming over here illegally. Because they say, and if you look at all of the different conversations that was happening during the 2024 election, they say, oh, you skipping the process. The people that are trying to do it legally are pissed off.
If TPS expires without renewal or even redesignation, several things could happen. Number one, work authorization could end. Individuals could lose protection from removal. Some may seek alternative legal pathways, that is, asylum, family petitions, employment visas. Others may face removal proceedings. It is important to note not everyone on TPS will automatically be deported after March 17th. Immigration processes are complex and often take time, but uncertainty itself can be destabilizing.
Thousands of Somalians living in Minnesota are currently deported from United States of America. But before this mass deportation began, something happened. I want you to first of all pay attention and see these people's mindset from their own statement and judge for yourself whether they deserve to remain in America or be deported. Because the number one criteria or the qualification for any individual to remain in a country is to be a law-abiding citizen. You must give maximum respect and regard to the Constitution or the law of the land for you to be in that land. Otherwise, you are not qualified to be in that country in the first place. Listen.
During an interview, some Somalians living in Minnesota said they prefer Sharia law over American law. This has caused some Americans to express concerns about the difference in legal preferences.
My neighborhood of Minneapolis. Do you feel more comfortable living under American law, or do you feel more comfortable living under Sharia law?
Sharia law. Sharia law, yes. I'm a Muslim, I prefer Sharia law.
You prefer Sharia law over American law?
Of course, yeah. Of course, yeah.
Now this is where it gets interesting. She was asked whether it is right to punish someone who insults Prophet Muhammad. Listen carefully to what she said.
He can make his daughter marry somebody.
Yeah, he can. Yeah, he can. He has the authority, you know?
The authority,
yeah, to do that. Yeah.
So here, how young do you think it's okay?
Yeah, 15.
Is it right to kill somebody who insults Muhammad?
Yeah, because she is just, she hate the religion, I understand. But she shouldn't beat up the prophet, you know?
Now, this is why some Americans were not happy with the statement they made. People feel that if you're living in someone else's country, a country that welcomed you, offered you safety, freedom, and opportunities, then it's expected that you follow that country's laws. That's what some Americans find frustrating. They believe that while everyone should be free to practice their beliefs, the laws of the land should still apply. Others have a calmer view. They say this doesn't need to cause conflict. If someone feels that American law doesn't align with their beliefs, then perhaps the best thing is to live in their home country, in this case, Somalia, where they can practice Sharia law peacefully, without interfering with anyone else. So here's the question for you. Do you think people should be allowed to follow Sharia law in the community where they live, or should they follow the laws of the country they're living in? This is for educational purposes. Note hate. Every opinion is accepted.
If American law is not acceptable to you as a Muslim, why don't you remain in Muslim country rather than going over there to cause trouble? Remain in Muslim country where you can practice Sharia law and enjoy it. But they say no. They all prefer to live in non-Sharia country. But when they go over there, they keep making problem. All right, we want to send you back to the place where you will practice Sharia law. Now, watch and see what will happen.
Out the way, boys, out the way. I think I live here 20 years.
We'll talk about it downtown. Keep moving.
My grandchildren at home. I was going to the
Sir,
store.
watch your head getting in.
Please.
Head down.
You
Step.
see, they don't want to go back to their countries. They don't want to go back to their countries where they can practice Sharia law freely without any disturbance. What precisely does Muslims want? If I may ask you, what exactly does Muslims want? They don't want to live in their Sharia country. They want to live in non-Sharia country like America and UK. And they will not enter there and remain quiet. They will enter there and still want to impose Sharia law on them. The same thing that destroyed the place where they left. The same thing that destroyed their home, they want to impose it on others. So, in other words, what Islam is doing is this: moving from desert, destroying a green land, and when they have eventually destroyed that green land, they will look for another green land to enter, going and destroying. Jesus Christ said that the enemy only came to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And by their fruit you shall know them. The world needs to open their eyes to the words of Jesus Christ, that these are words of wisdom. By their fruit you shall know them. If you want peace for the world, avoid Islam. We love Muslims, but that radical ideology, that pathetic ideology is not acceptable to me and to the world. For peace, you must do away with that pathetic ideology.
Supporters of ending TPS argue that TPS was meant to be temporary. Immigration policy should follow strict timelines. Long-term solutions should come through Congress. Supporters of extending TPS argue that conditions in Somalia remain dangerous. Many TPS holders have become deeply integrated in American society, and also sudden termination harms families and local economies. This debate reflects a larger national conversation about immigration, humanitarian policy, and long-term reform.
At the people that's taking advantage of the United States of America. And that's why I said people that are not supposed to be here, or people that are defrauding the United States of America, they don't fuck with the people that's over here doing it the wrong way because they messing up their bag. So it's all across the board. It's not about whether or not you actually are a descendant of slaves. That's why I said we're not going to get into the middle, and we're not going to do all of the other segregated groups or all of the other little groups. That's why I just kept it black and white in order to substantiate the argument, because I want to paint the picture and help you to understand that nobody except for people that hate Trump are protesting against this. So the only people that are having a problem with Trump doing the thing that's in the best interest of what people say that they want are the people that don't like Trump, and so they cutting off their nose in order to spite their face. Do you understand what I'm saying? If it serves you both for different reasons or similar reasons, are you telling me that you hate this man so much that you're willing to do whatever it takes because you know that ain't no other listen. No president is going to do what he does and be as transparent about why he's doing it. We never seen Kamala Harris until it was time to go to Ghana to advocate for LGBTQ and alphabet community in another country and push that shit on them, like they pushed it on us with Obama, or when she started to pop out for the election. For 4 years, she was whisper, quiet. We never seen her. Biden, at an occasion, we would see him disappear and stumble into the Amazon and get caught by the Secret Service. There is nobody that's going to execute on the agenda of the American people and do it transparently right in front of your face like Trump. Nobody.
So beyond individuals, there are ripple effects. Local economies lose workers, schools are impacted, community organizations face strain, families with mixed immigration status face difficult decisions. So immigration policy doesn't just affect paperwork, it affects neighborhood. So between now and March 17, several possibilities remain: legal challenges, policy reconsideration, congressional proposals, administrative action. Deadlines in immigration policy sometimes shift, but nothing is guaranteed. The next few weeks are critical. So in this case, I want to hear from you guys. Do you believe TPS should remain temporary no matter what? Or should long-term residents be given a pathway to stay? Keep the discussions respectful. These affect real families. If you found this breakdown helpful, subscribe for clear, balanced immigration analysis without the noise. And if you want to hear deep coverage on immigration policy, humanitarian protection, and what these changes mean for American communities, check out the next video on your screen, because this conversation isn't ending on March 17. It is just beginning. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Faith Reacts. Consider joining our family by subscribing. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.